Why? Well, last week it was reported that a radio signal was detected, not in deep outer space, but coming from our own galaxy, the Milky Way. The question is, what caused it? If it's not aliens, then why the heck should we care?
Oh, I think we should care because you learn so much from doing this, and we learned something about our place in the cosmos. That's the most important thing. It puts everything into perspective.
For nearly 40 years, Peter has been rescuing swans, but recently his rounds have taken a more sinister turn. After finding 7 dead swans in this reef, Peter alerted the authorities.
Francis spoke to a local bird rescue about its suspicions into what may have happened.
Astronomers are excited about what you can now see in the sky.
Interesting stuff. Meteorologist Eric Garlick shows us what should we be looking for when we look up.
Mars has been a big attraction the last couple of months. It's been the brightest thing in the night sky, and it has appeared bigger and brighter than it has in over 2 years.
And you go out in the evening and you look to the high in the east, that bright red object there, the brightest thing in the sky, that's Mars, which just went through conjunction about a month ago, which means it was on the same side of the sun with us, the closest it comes to Earth every 26 months.
Something even more rare than that will be happening later this year, though, which is why Mike and the Oklahoma City Astronomy Club are really looking forward to December 21st already.
They're going to move like this through the month of December, and on the night of December 21, down the low in the southwest, they're going to be right next to each other. They have not been that close since, I believe, 1653.
Another thing they're looking forward to in the night sky in December is the
We're up to today's count about 33 dead birds.
They all died in Huntersville off of 77 near Gilead Road. Different kinds of birds and different sizes are dropping dead, literally.
One lady went out and she said she saw the bird fall out of the tree and drop on the ground dead.
And now the team over at Carolina Waterfowl Rescue is trying to figure out what killed them.
And this isn't the first instance when it comes to mysterious circumstances involving birds here in our area. Last October, Fox 46 showed you video of chimney swifts flying into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Hundreds died then and many others were injured. At that time, experts believed the birds flew into the building on accident because they couldn't see the buildings, especially with the lights on.
One of Iran's top nuclear scientists has been assassinated. Mohsen Fakhrizadeh died of his wounds after gunmen fired on his car. Israel and Western intelligence agencies accuse him of being one of the founders of the country's covert nuclear weapons program. Iran's foreign minister Javad Zarif was quick to point the finger at Israel.
Mohsen Fakhrizadeh was assassinated on a road east of the Iranian capital, Tehran. He was traveling with his bodyguards in the car with him. Witnesses said that they heard an explosion and then gunfire.
Previous assassinations of 4 Iranian scientists between 2010 and 2012 have also been blamed on Israel, with US officials briefing the press about Israeli involvement.
Fakhrizadeh is the second high-profile Iranian to be assassinated this year, after General Qasem Soleimani was killed in a US drone strike leaving Baghdad airport in January. Iran responded by attacking 2 US military bases in Iraq.
Based on the report made by the guard, first they opened fire at his car, then after 10 to 15 seconds a truck carrying explosive materials exploded near his car. Gunfire continued after the explosion.
Officials admit his death is a blow to the country's defense program.
All of Iran's enemies should well know, the people of Iran and those in charge of this nation are braver than to let this criminal action go without a response. In the right time, a response to this crime will be given.
Mohsen Fakhrizadeh is the most senior and crucial scientist killed to date. This threatens to complicate any future talks and further increase tensions in the region.
A deep space mystery has the international scientific community scratching their heads after astrophysicists intercepted radio signals coming from across the universe.
And what's amazing is that these bursts, often when they are recorded, they don't repeat And what's so incredible about this discovery is it's only the second one of these radio bursts which has been found to repeat. And this is really important because when they repeat, we get more information about them, and therefore astronomers can trace back and try to understand what would cause something like this.
I won't say no. I can never say never in this case. So these types of radio bursts have been around and known for about 13 years, and some very serious people have put that forward as a plausible explanation. Typically, over the years, there have been hundreds of these that have been discovered. They've been known to be sources from outside of our galaxy. This is the first one from inside of our galaxy. They're extremely energetic signals, but by the time they reach the Earth, they're very faint, and they happen so quickly, on the order of microseconds or milliseconds, that it's unusual to detect.
A shiny metal monolith has been discovered in a remote part of Utah in the United States.
A very curious sighting in a remote part of the country, a mysterious metal structure that offers a lot more questions than answers.
But no one knows how it got there. Initially, it was spotted from the air by state officials counting bighorn sheep. Yes, you did hear this story right. Even after they landed to take a closer look, they couldn't work out who or maybe even what was responsible.
What the heck is that? The crew landed the chopper and began to investigate, finding a shiny triangular monolith standing about 2 Earthlings high, solidly mounted to the rock.
They've cut it in.
One of the crew members notices the monolith points toward a split in the canyon wall, perhaps suggesting the alignment might have some type of Stonehenge-like significance.
It's just wild.
There are many questions. Is it a rogue art installation, a practical joke? And most importantly, how did they get it here?
Of course, the biggest mystery is who put it there and how. That is all still under investigation. And as they used to say on the X-Files, Lindsay, the truth is out there.
It's out there. And so now we're getting this whole picture where we're getting a detection in radio of something that might be one of the most extreme events in our universe.
So it's a message, but maybe not from an alien form, but a planet telling us something.
Yes, exactly.
Love it. All right, intrigued by these things.
I just got that on video. What was that?
What was that?
That's a big gun.
Yeah, the boom heard around Central New York. Good evening, everyone. I'm Christy Casciano.
That humongous boom rattling the region.
Did you hear it? That mysterious boom heard for miles. Calls were coming in from all across Central New York about the noise. It shook windows. It rattled our pets.
Oh, I hope I got that. I just saw a comet. Or holy cow, I think that was a shooting star, but in the day.
He heard an explosion that shook the house.
They're from Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Canada, and they also heard that boom.
If you felt a boom on Wednesday and can't describe it, you're not alone. Scientists say a meteor broke apart somewhere over Syracuse, New York around noon, and the resulting explosion could be seen, heard, and even felt in 5 states, including Maryland. People in some areas could see a fireball. Others describe the sound as being similar to a clap of thunder.
A brightly burning meteor has been caught on camera in Japan. The fireball can be seen through the clouds for a few seconds before it exploded, lighting up the night sky. A similarly bright shooting star was seen in the sky above Tokyo earlier this year.
Indonesia's Mount Ile Lewotolo has erupted, sending 4 kilometers of smoke and ash into the sky. This comes 8 years after the volcano in the island of Lemata last erupted in 2012.
On Lembata Island in Indonesia's southernmost province, this is Mount Ile Lewotolo. Thousands usually live on the slopes of the volcano, accustomed to its quiet grumbling close to their homes. But days ago, a large eruption triggered panic among the local population. Ash shot more than 4 kilometers into the sky. Indonesia sits on what's known as the Ring of Fire, which makes it vulnerable to frequent seismic activity. It has 147 volcanoes and several have been highly active this month.
4 volcanoes across different islands are now on the second highest alert level.
As we go to air tonight, bushfires are bearing down on Kingfisher Bay Resort in Fraser Island. The hotel is closed, with guests ordered to get out while they still can.
Fraser is now a fortress. Unless you're a resident, you can't go over.
Weather records fell over the last 24 hours as Sydney sweltered through its hottest November night ever. Paramedics were stretched to full capacity, receiving more calls for help than the average Australia Day or New Year's Eve.
Well, predominantly it's part of most parts of New South Wales. Fires are continuing to rage across the state.
Yeah, Rob, just on that, I guess there's a sense that this fire season can't be anywhere near as bad as the last one. There's nothing left to burn, but that's not the case, is it?
No, clearly not. Those grasslands, which make up a huge part of the state, weren't even there for the last few years. So,
heat waves are not unusual in Australia at this time of year.
Wildfire in Southern California. It's being fueled by ferocious winds, including a gust of 95 miles an hour.
It's already been a record-breaking wildfire season in California, and now fire crews are dealing with at least 3 new out-of-control wildfires.
Powerful winds pushing the flames in all directions, scorching an area larger than 3,000 football fields overnight.
This has already been one of the worst years for wildfires in California's history. More than 4 million acres have burned statewide this year alone.
Fires are also raging in Australia. Crews are working to put out brush fires burning on Fraser Island. It's the world's largest sand island. Local media reporting the fire has spread to over 197,000 acres of land. That's more than half the size of the island.
BBC broadcast, Antonio Guterres also said that there is no vaccine for the planet.
2020 has been a year of dramatic weather extremes.
To put it simply, the state of the planet is broken. Dear friends, humanity is waging war on nature. This is suicidal. Nature always strikes back.
The UN's annual climate report read like a list of natural disasters. Record hurricanes in the Atlantic and Central America. Record wildfires and record temperatures. California alone saw the biggest fires in its history this summer and the hottest air temperature on the planet in a century, if not ever. And this year has seen higher temperatures the world over, on land, sea, and especially the Arctic.
Biodiversity is collapsing, deserts are spreading, oceans are choking with plastic waste, and apocalyptic fires and floods, cyclones and hurricanes are the new normal.
Terrible wildfires raged across Australia, burning vast areas, and there were huge wildfires in California and even Arctic Siberia. The UN Secretary General says the world now faces a moment of truth.
Wildfires have once again returned to Australia, along with record-breaking temperatures. The apocalyptic scenes of last year still roar. While there is no vaccine to fix the planet, 2020 has proven human beings are capable of drastic action in the face of a crisis.
Well, here comes the police. The question now, how would the police disrupt this much larger group? The rule of two is something they've never had to implement before.
We start in France, where the government is under pressure after police clash with protesters in the capital, Paris. Demonstrations erupted over a new security bill that would restrict the right to publish images of police officers.
Police and demonstrators clash violently as night falls in the French capital. Journalists and participants document the events, publish videos and images. Some might call this a fitting end to a day of protest.
But the science is clear, the Secretary General will say, unless the world reduces emissions, we face disaster.
You know, I'm sure everyone's interested in that. That's scary, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a subject which we've covered a lot of, and I'm sure we'll continue to talk about it.
Mysterious monolith has appeared, this time in our very own backyard in San Luis Obispo County.
Well, another monolith has popped up, this time along California's central coast. It's made of stainless steel, stands roughly 10 feet tall. This is the third structure of its kind to appear in the last few weeks and the second in the U.S.